And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Welcome back to Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the beautiful studios of Freedoms of the Nest, freedomsphoenix.com here at the farm. You know, we have Robert Naiman. Am I saying your last name right, Robert?
Yeah, that's correct.
Robert Naiman. He's policy director of justforeignpolicy.org. And I've read a couple of his articles here, and I was encouraged by let's just go home. We're done. Now, the one article you were talking about, the McGovern-Jones push for a real withdrawal plan, and my withdrawal plan is tomorrow, but, I understand you want to go through whatever the machinations of. But in your article here, it says the president put forward 2014 as a date when a transition to Afghan lead, whatever the heck that means, I guess for them to lead themselves, not necessarily a withdrawal of U.S. forces would take place. And my point is this. I saw it happen at the peak of the anti-war movement as it was getting big, and I've seen this tactic my whole adult life. I'm 50. I've been an activist since 88. I've seen this cycle, how they do the war thing. They get all of the opposition under one thing, and then they go, we do your scheduling. We got the website. We have the bloggers. We're all infiltrated in. We do a little bit of the funding here. Got everybody on the plantation. Are you ready? You know what the deal is? Here's the deal. It's phased withdrawal. None of this leave right now thing, phased withdrawal. They insisted, and the only person that I saw, I was standing there when it happened, Cindy Sheehan said no. And that's when they came after her. I knew it was going to happen, and so did she. So now we're looking at the same. Nobody is out there doing that. It's always this phased withdrawal. It's always timetable. It's later. It's in the future. Then what do you get the pushback from the other side? Oh, no, we can't say phased withdrawal. We can't have a timetable. Then they'll know that we're leaving and blah, blah, blah. So what's the option? Just freaking leaving. But the thing is that no, the process is. The process is what sucks. I say screw the process. The American people lead this thing. When I first started radio in early 03, before we went into Iraq, before we invaded Iraq, I had Tony Snow on my show, G. Gordon Liddy. I mean, all these guys, they're going on about how they got to go, we got to invade. And I'm going, let me tell you, I can see what's going to happen. There's going to be a Marine with his foot up on some rubble, showing the American flag and saying we win, and then the war starts. All this mission accomplished crap, and that's going on. I mean, it's just, I could see where this was going. At the peak of the anti-war movement, before we even invaded Iraq, there were more people in the streets around the world than at the peak of the Vietnam War protests. It was clear what the people wanted. But where has the leadership gone? The anti-war movement saying, we want out now. They got co-opted. And they used this technique of phased withdrawal and dealing with the Congress, getting bills, and all this justforeignpolicy.org stuff, to what you're talking about. And I got to ask you, if you're in this battle, you have to at least know somebody, some group, some organization, some legislator, somebody that's advocating getting out, not later. Who is that?
Well, look, my approach is to support any initiative or any strategy that looks like it's going to shorten, help end the war. And that you know from looking through my articles, two examples of very different things. So on the one hand, encouraging people to contact Congress in support of the McGovern-Jones bill. On the other hand, I've written two pieces about Gary Johnson's campaign for president. Once when he announced, and once when I did an interview with him. So I don't just, sort of pick one thing and say, I'm only going to support that one thing. I support anything going that I think will help end the war.
Well, I'm glad that you will. I'm just advocating ending the war will end the war. This in your article here, it says Pressure for a real withdrawal timetable could help end the war much sooner. Because while on the one hand, the administration now says it is, quote, seeking to use the killing of Osama bin Laden to accelerate a negotiated settlement with the Taliban and hasten the end of the Afghanistan war. On the other hand, the administration is pressing the government of Afghanistan for a permanent bases agreement that would keep U.S. troops and bases in Afghanistan past 2014. You got troops there. The war ain't over. I mean, what do you mean it's just bullets aren't flying? I mean, I don't even know what that means. You know, and what would satisfy you?
What would satisfy me? I'll be satisfied when all the troops come out.
Then
I'll be satisfied.
I'll help you say it, man, really loud. We should say it really loud. Bring all troops home. Done. Over.
Bring all the troops home. Absolutely. That is the goal. Bring all the troops home.
You see,
as soon as possible.
For my audience,
absolutely.
Robert, I want to help you, and I do this, being a hardcore libertarian kind of, war good for nothing kind of thing. There has been a parade of advocacies and organizations and individuals from Iraq, in Saudi Arabia. I've had them in Bahrain, in Afghanistan on this show on a regular basis. My long distance phone bill is like big, okay, for doing this show. And I'll tell you, my whole thing is I want to get a clear picture of those that are in the leadership. People that want to go on to the talk shows, they want to get FaceTime on cable news, they want to advocate for, and I'm going, all right, why aren't there anyone that's out there really pushing for just stopping? And the only organized group I can see is, it's like Campaign for Liberty or Dr. Paul's Levolution or whatever, because everyone else is dependent on the system to be funded or to be liked or to get legislation or be able to meet with congressmen or something. And I don't understand how you're going to expect these guys that don't lead, they follow. Congressmen do not lead, they follow. And if you do not have people out there that are advocating for the elimination of troops all over the world, you're not going to ever get it from them.
No, I don't expect it from them. And believe me, we have a big agenda, which goes, we want to get all the troops out of Iraq. We want to get all the troops out of Iran. We don't want to hear any more noise about a war with Iran. We want the U.S. base to remove, military base removed from Okinawa. We want a huge drawdown of U.S. military forces and bases from all over the world. We want to see a huge cut in the U.S. military budget. We got a big agenda.
Well, do you have a phased withdrawal kind of thing for Libya?
Oh, the U.S. should just get out.
But I mean, why? Yeah, I got an echo here, but why?
The U.S. should just get out. Unfortunately, we don't have any uniformed ground troops there yet. But the U.S. military intervention in Libya was a terrible mistake, and I think it ought to end immediately. The U.S. should support a negotiated solution that ends the war and stops the bombing.
Well, we look at Afghanistan and we look at Libya, and we need to get out of Libya right away. But Afghanistan's a little bit different because we got negotiated on permanent bases, and we don't have them there in Libya yet. But they want a military base in Libya.
Of course, they want military bases everywhere they can get them. Now, I don't think there's a patch of earth where the Pentagon wouldn't like to put a military base. So, we want the U.S. military out of Afghanistan as soon as humanly possible. We will support any reasonable, plausible initiative that looks like it will hasten that. We supported stronger bills than McGovern-Jones. We supported the Lee bill and the Nadler amendment, which would have cut off funding, and we'll support other measures. It's one thing that we're doing to try and shorten and end the war.
I support that. Stop. Anybody that advocates that, I want to help. We'll be right back.